Hello, welcome to part 4, guitar fretboard study 135 for the major chord formula. Study of how the 1, the 3, and the 5 relate to each other. I'm hoping you guys can grasp this, and thanks to a couple of my buddies who kind of wanted to learn how to do this a little bit better. I'm kind of pushed to make these videos for them as a quick study, quick explanation, so that we're all on the same page. Okay, so now that we have 1, 2, 3 parts done, we can kind of go to how the chords notes relate to each other. Again, we're going to start with the chord in the key of G in standard tuning. E, A, D, G, B, E as a reference. G is a root note. We're going to go through our routine again and make sure that we go through the same process of finding the root note. I should have this down by now. Of course, I do. But hopefully you should have it down by now and understand where I'm going with this. Now, that is the root note in the key of G. We're going to find the third in the chords formula, and right there we know that the 3 resides over here. We have a 3 here, a 3 here, a 3 here, and a 3 over here. And let's see here. Oh my goodness, did I mess up already? Oh, I did, didn't I? No, that's correct. That is correct. And the key of G, that's right. Let's see, we have a 3 over here. And in this position over here, we have a 3. And we remember that that is over here, and we have a 3 here and a 3 here. Starting to build our chord possibilities all over the fretboard. Okay, am I still in the picture here? Now we want to find where the 5th resides. So we can basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's where the 5th resides. Slowly, one by one, we shall go through. We know right there, we can just check these off like this. There's one location where it is offset, and it's this one right here. And where else? That's it in the key of G. That would be it. Now, these are, what am I forgetting? Always kind of see what we're forgetting here. Am I leaving anything out? Okay, so once we get to this point in this major key, what do we have left? Now we have all the notes in the chord in the chord G in the key of G for the major chord to be played in the key of G. So any one of these notes is in the key of G, and the 1, 3, 5 can produce the chord for that. And here's a chord structure that we recognize. Here's a chord structure that we recognize. we definitely recognize this chord structure, and we definitely recognize this chord structure and this chord structure. That's your G chord structure the first chord structure that you know, that's a G chord structure. Here's a D chord structure. It's not a D, but it's the chord structure that is in the shape that is in the D shape. And this is your A chord structure here. This is what they would call an E. Where is the E? It's over here. I believe that this is the E right here. And that's about it here. We have another chord structure here. I'm sorry, let's see. That's a C. That's a C chord structure. And this is your E chord structure here. So we're dealing now into the cage system. So that is caged. That's a cage system. C-A-G-D-E in the key of G. The C shape, A shape, G shape, E shape, D shape are all G chords in the G, in the key of G, all over the neck. That's going to be the topic of another, well, it could be the topic of another video. However, there are a lot more videos out there that explain this a lot better. But what I'm getting at, and my main point with this, is to try to understand the relationship of the root note with the third and the fifth, and where they reside on the fretboard, and how they will always be there and reside in that position for eternity if you're dealing with the standard tuning. Okay, so if we wanted to do it in the key, if we wanted to figure it out in the key of A, we have E, A, D, G, B, E. It's the key of A. I'm just going to circle that over here. We know our root note resides on the 5th fret. Okay? We want to figure that out. We want to fill it out. Fill out the blank sheet of paper. Okay? And we fill it out as such. Okay? Through repetition, we can understand where everything's going to lie. That way, if we can do it on paper, then we're probably going to be able to do it on the fretboard while we're playing the guitar. That's going to take some practice as well too. Go to the next note, 3. Well, we already know this pattern right here. Okay, we know. Let's see. We know this pattern here. We know. Let's see. Let's go. This pattern here. We know this pattern here. This and this pattern here. When it comes to here, we have a 3 here, a 3 here. We're just filling out the form. Over here, let's see. Then we have to take into consideration the shift, which is located over. Let's see. Where am I? I have to make sure, which is right here. Here's the shift, the shifty part. Same thing with here. There's a shift right here. We have to keep that into consideration. All right. On the B note, the B string, excuse me, the B string and the G string. There's a shift in here. All right. Now, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's your 5th, but we know that because the 5th is always going to be located right below the root note, except when we're in the shift position. And we can identify that with this first one here, come up here, and we find it right here. So if we have another 1, another root note over here. So we're fine. So now we can fill out all of these. We know that the fifth is located here and here, and there's it here. There we go. We've just filled out this sheet for the key of A, and we know that looks familiar. There's a A chord. Here's another A chord. Here's another A chord. Very interesting A chord right here. Here's another A chord. Another A chord here. Oops, we didn't finish filling that out. Oh, actually, that doesn't exist. The fifth would have been below that, so that's a mistake. But, however, this is a possibility for a chord right here. Here's another possibility for a chord, definitely possibility. So all these are A chords. All right, so now you have an idea of how to identify the 1, 3, 5s relative to each other, relative to the 1, the 3, and the 5, or the relative to the root note. Let's put it that way. If you wanted to study it further, you could actually see how the 3 is positioned relative to the 5th, or the 5th is positioned relative to the 3rd. That's a whole other thing, and a whole other video. But first thing is we want to identify the root note and identify the location of the 3 and the 5 relative to the root note, and vice versa. You want to be able to mirror this theory so that it gives you more possibilities, and it opens up your mind into the guitar fretboard a little bit better. But once you write this down and keep practicing this, it'll become easier and easier. And then when you look at the root note, you'll immediately know where the 3, the 3rd is located, where the 5th is located. And this is only just the beginning, because you obviously have other chords. You're going to be dealing with minor chords and more complicated minor chords, because then we have 7ths and flat 7ths, and then we'll have dominant chords involved. You have more complex chords with 9ths and 13ths and 11ths and all that, and then some symmetrical chords with flat 7ths and flat 5ths. But it's all the same in terms of understanding how to build your chords based on your root note, and how to identify their locations relative to the root note. So you'll know immediately how to build chords, alter chords as well too. And I cannot stress enough to, when you're playing the guitar, to take the time to listen to the different combinations of chords. For instance, the sound of the 1-3, or the flat 3-1, which is a minor sound, and of course the power chords. And then you're going to start to play around with flatting a 5th and hearing that sound. There's signature sounds that you got to learn how to identify. And with that, you'll be able to start composing some songs. So it's a little bit of work, and but repetitive, studies of taking a blank piece of paper and working this out, and then going over to the guitar, and and applying it. Okay, Well, that's it for part 4 of this series, from part 1 to part 4. I think we've gone through it, and we've figured out how to identify major chords and how they relate to every part of that construction, how they relate to the root note. Okay, if there's any comments, please comment, and thanks a lot, and I hope that you guys kind of understand that, and give me, let me know if you have any questions about this, and I'll try to make another video explaining anything you might need to know. Okay, have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.